Hey guys, we're about to review FlyQuest versus Clutch Gaming. I did an interview with Piglet, and he told me if they lose on Sunday, he thinks they're not going to make playoffs. And spoiler alert, they lost this game. So let's see the slow mental breakdown of Clutch Gaming. I'm actually super curious to figure out what happened to Clutch, because they had a lot of hype pieces, but now the team is boom. Huni is boom. Piglet is actually still playing decent. And I really want to take a look at Demonte and Vulcan's play in this game, because I think that's where the future of Clutch lies, in Demonte and Vulcan. Eventually they're going to shed Lyra, Huni, and Piglet. And when they shed Lyra, Huni, and Piglet, what they have left is Demonte and Vulcan to build off of. So I'm very curious how good these players will be. Clutch leading with Orn Ban, Nocturne Ban. I like both of these versus FlyQuest. They've actually been pretty reliant on Nocturne and Orn. All-Star Ban really nice too. So how FlyQuest likes to draft is JJ on tanks and engage, and Viper on carries. Usually your tanks and engage are coming from top lane, but if your top lane likes to play carries, it has to come from somewhere else. So it's coming from JJ instead. FlyQuest banned Urgot Lucian. They're probably going to ban Cassio last. You kind of have to from purple side. What are you first picking? Huni. Israel. Okay, not a bad first pick. Lucian gone. Israel pretty much the only champion left that's like a power pick. Zoe Thresh. So Thresh has been one of the most frequently blinded supports. Now, the little thing bad about banning All-Star is I actually think Clutch's reply here should be them picking All-Star, but because All-Star is banned, they don't have anything they can reply with. Versus Zoe though, most likely Lissandra, so I would imagine Lissandra plus support or Lissandra plus jungle here. What do you take? What do you take? Braum, yeah, kind of forced to take Braum. Zoe's also okay, but Braum's okay too. Demonte, Lissandra. I feel it coming. Oh, LeBlanc. LeBlanc into Zoe. This becomes more of a skill matchup, more of a volatile matchup, more of a 2v2 matchup. Yep, Kaisa into Israel, really standard. Sivir can also be played into Israel. Now, FlyQuest wants to ban... They want to ban good tank tops. Or good blind top lanes. If I'm FlyQuest, I ban good flight. Or you can ban junglers that engage. I guess they don't want to get engaged on. Zarbin's a good ban here. And probably another engage top. They're banning Silas because they know they're going to have to blind. What do you ban, FlyQuest? I don't think BB is going to count as rookie because he played in TCL. Olaf. Okay, Olaf ban not bad either. Olaf LeBlanc going to be really scary for Zoe. Clutch Gaming, they're going to want to blind their top, so they want to ban out good counter picks. Okay, Jace. I don't think you needed the Jace ban that much. Pick jungle here for sure. What would they pick? I swear to God I was about to say Lee Sin, but yeah, they're going to pick Lee Sin here. Why Olaf ban? Because they don't want Clutch to have Olaf LeBlanc pressuring the Zoe. Ooh, blind pick Sion. I don't think blind pick Sion's correct here. I think blind pick carry is correct there. What's the best carry left? Why did they ban Jace? Jace is actually a really good blind pick there because they need a carry top. Jace, Kennen. I think they should blind pick Kennen or Jace there. You're not a teamfight comp. You have Israel LeBlanc. Why are you drafting a teamfight champion? You have Israel and a LeBlanc. You should draft a solo lane to 1-3-1. Drafting a tank there is super stupid. You're also blind picking Karthus. You're also taking Karthus. So it's Karthus with 1-3-1. Not Karthus as a teamfight with Sion. This Sion pick is actually really bad. Holy shit. That Sion pick. Should have been Jace or Kennen. Jace or Kennen with Karthus. That Sion pick was actually god-awful. Also, Viper did an interview with me on Saturday, and he said Ribbon is bad into Israel and Braum, and he's picking Ribbon into Israel and Braum. He's really confident about his pick. Huni would int on those. I think Huni would love to play Jace or Kennen with a Karthus backing him up. That man Hood. I'm sure you get this question daily, but what's keeping you off a coaching staff? My lack of desire to go back into LCS and coach teams and get yelled at by players younger than me and inexperienced than me, and ownership with crazy expectation. Why not Rumble? Huni has played Rumble this split, right? So Rumble doesn't fit into the comp as well because they're a split push comp. Israel's good at 1-3-1. LeBlanc is good at 1-3-1. Karthus is so good at 1-3-1. So you wanna make a comp that's gonna 1-3-1. I don't understand the Sion pick. Why do you take the Sion here? Why do you force yourself into a teamfight comp? You're not a teamfight comp. You're not even a teamfight team. You have Huni on your team. You don't want a teamfight. You want a split push. This Sion pick is so fucking troll. I actually think this Sion pick kind of like, there must have been some kind of discussion overall as a team for Clutch, and they're like, okay, we're gonna be this kind of team. We're gonna team fight. We're gonna draft the tank top and team fight. Because it makes no sense to take the Sion there. Why do you take the Sion there? You should be a 1-3-1 comp. You have Kennen Israel, or not Kennen, LeBlanc Israel. Oh, this is bad. This is really bad. 1 for 3. We can talk about why this is so bad, or why it went so badly. So Turtle has, they should flash and stun Turtle. So, because Turtle turned around and was able to get WQ, and the stun came out too late. So even though they kill Turtle, they're in a really bad spot and everyone dies. Yikes. I think if they were going to do that, they had to flash on Turtle a lot quicker. Fuck, that's so bad. 1 for 3. I feel like Huni has been put into horrible positions in the draft. What percentage of blame can you put on draft for his weak season this year? Okay, between me and you guys, make sure this doesn't go on Reddit. But when Huni was on Immortals, Huni had a lot of say in the draft, and Huni and Rainover had a lot of say in how they wanted to play out the draft, and Huni is a very intelligent player. So he gives a lot of input to the draft. So when the drafts are bad, I actually think a lot of faults on Huni, except for this one. This one, it was pre-arranged, definitely. I don't think Huni said, I want to play Sion here. Someone else definitely said you should play Sion here, and Huni plays Sion. But in the past, like, Huni was definitely a player that was very vocal about his picks and what he wanted to do. Lantern Flash Gank. After you burned your Flash, this was predictable. Do you think Nar would have been a good pick? No, I think Kennen or Jace would have been a better pick. Because they already banned Jace, I think Kennen would have been a really good pick, because Jace is the counter to Kennen usually. This team is a checked out team. If I was the coach of this team, or if I was the owner of this team, I would try to cut contracts early, and I would start giving my academy players a chance so they have something to do, and we can still get something out of the split. I think this team is mentally done right now. I think you should try to figure out which players you want to keep for next split and build around those players. Oh, how do I feel about Demonte for this game? He actually can't do anything 2v1. He can't do anything 2v2 mid because they drafted a Karthus, and he has to wait until they're in the side lane. Demonte can't do anything until he gets into a side lane. He's not going to take 2v2s with Karthus. That's not how this team's going to play it out. Where do I see Huni going? Probably back to Korea. Turtle still looks good, huh? You think he is top 580 carry in North America? Turtle is a peasant killer. Turtle is very good at killing and murdering players weaker than him, but Turtle struggles versus players that are better than him. Turtle struggles a lot versus players that are better than him. So Turtle will look great whenever he's ahead and whenever he can snowball the game, but that's never been Turtle's problem, the ability to snowball. Like, what? Guy, I mean, we can review the game and let's keep talking about things, but I find it so hard for Clutch to win this game because their draft is so disjointed. What does their draft want to accomplish? Let's start one by one. What does LeBlanc want to do? LeBlanc wants to 2v2 mid or 1-3-1. That's what LeBlanc wants to do. You can't 2v2 mid because you have a Karthus, and it's hard to 1-3-1 because you have a Sion. So LeBlanc's actually kind of shitty. Like, why did you pick LeBlanc if you're not going to 2v2 mid and you can't 1-3-1 because you have a fucking Sion? If you have a split pusher here instead, you can 1-3-1 Sion or Cannon, Karthus, LeBlanc. That's a 1-3-1 comp right there. What are you doing with this shit? What does Karthus wants to do? You want a team fight? Or you want a 1-3-1? You don't really have a team fight comp. You have a LeBlanc. You have a 1-3-1 comp, but you also have a Sion. So Karthus is kind of screwed here too. Israel wants to 1-3-1. Braum is okay in a 1-3-1, but he's best in a team fight. Zion's best in a team fight. This draft is just... what's going on? What's going on? After this game, so let's go to Clutch's... Clutch's coach actually does like a thoughts after the game. Like he writes down he talks on Twitter about how he's feeling and stuff after the game. So we can go check that out. Fly able to get first mid turret. This is before plating 2, so he's getting 3 platings worth. Red buff after. Is Centurion in the MVP discussion? No. I don't think his team is doing well enough, and I don't think Centurion's flashy enough. I don't think Centurion will ever win MVP. Even when Centurion is actually the most valuable player, I'm not saying he is, but I think even when Centurion ever becomes the most valuable player, he'll never win MVP because Centurion's too quiet of a player. Centurion does his job. He doesn't go for crazy outplays, and he's just a good, solid player. And those players don't win MVP, regardless of their value to the team. Ooh. Like, Piglet actually has a lot of these where he's actually building his own lead. Team not doing well enough. I'm thinking, like, they're third. So, the other MVP candidates are Licorice and Core JJ. Who do you think is going to get it? Licorice or Core JJ, who's on first, second place teams that are being talked about every day? Or who's on Centurion? Centurion, who's on like a third place team. Even though Centurion's on a third place team, he gets talked less about than anybody on TSM, anybody on 100 Thieves, or even Clutch. I would say there's less talks about FlyQuest than about 100 Thieves and TSM and Clutch. Even though FlyQuest is the third best team in the league, or the ranked third, they're one of the least talked about teams. They're just not a very popular team. They're a great team, and I think they have a good brand, but they're not a popular team. So there's no way Centurion's winning MVP on this team. Viper's a rookie. It's just FlyQuest is they're a great organization. I think their org is run really well. But they're super fucking boring. Like, none of their players are very standoutish. Imagine, like, let's say Viper built Zerot portals and split pushed or something. Right? If Viper built Zerot portals and split pushed, then maybe we would talk about FlyQuest. Or if Pobelter is like, yeah, I'm fucking coming for Team Liquid. Double Lift, Xmithy, Impact, wait for me. I'm gonna fuck you guys up whenever we play each other. If Pobelter did something like that, or Centurion was like, yeah, man, I was great on TSM, but people around me were fucking shitty. Now I'm doing a really good job. And like, he's shit talking junglers and stuff. Then we would talk about FlyQuest more, but everyone on FlyQuest is so nice. Oh man, Riven actually got in the middle of that. Whew! Damn, CG might win team fights here. Oh, let's actually recheck that. What the fuck? That was actually so well done for Clutch. Maybe I counted you guys out too early. Well, they're in a side lane. This is bad, by the way. Remember what we talked about. Zoe in a side lane, bad. Zoe mid lane. TSM had this exact same comp where Bjerg was playing Zoe and Zeben was playing Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa went bot lane and Zoe went mid lane. Zoe should be mid lane. Zoe is really, really bad in the side lane. Really, really, really fucking bad. You can see how on TSM, Bjerg is vocal that he doesn't want to be in the side lane and he stays in mid. And Turtle is a little bit more vocal on FlyQuest, and Turtle's like, oh, I want to go mid lane. But Pobelter should be like, no, I'm a Zoe. I should be mid. You should be bot lane, Turtle. Okay, so it starts out pretty nicely. Viper there looking to flank. They get it, and they're backing up. JJ gets hit? JJ, where's your flash? Huh? JJ, where's your flash? I said this about most team fights nowadays. Most team fights are determined by how fights start. That's almost the only thing that matters. And this fight started with JJ getting car crashed into a Cyan ult, so the team fight, there was almost no way FlyQuest could play it out. If they want to fight this, JJ has to flash that and they can fight it afterwards. Tanner did a really good job of going on Lucas there, and he pressured the Lee Sin extremely hard. Here's what I think about stopwatches and flashes. Stopwatch is kind of like flash. It's the ultimate skill expression, but it's really, really good because people are getting good at it. I think stopwatches are in a completely fine position right now. Yeah, I think stopwatches are in a fine position. It's just people are getting a lot of it, but it's a lot of skill expression. So I don't mind stopwatches that much. It just, you know, like when you have a fight and like 6 people flash, you're like, holy shit, flash is so OP. It's when stopwatches get used, one person uses stopwatch and another person uses stopwatch, that's when it looks really bullshit. But when it's like in very separate situation, I think it looks fine. It's because people just like use stopwatch one after another and everyone's like, oh, stopwatch OP. And Viper's enabled. He finished Death Dance and Black Cleaver. Why those two items are really good versus Sion is now he can lifesteal the Sion and also beat him in a side lane. So he's gonna slowly beat the Sion out by out lifestealing him and slowly winning the lane. It's gonna be a very, very slow grind, but now Viper can actually win the side lane, and that's a really big win condition for FlyQuest that's activated. You can't out lifesteal a Warmog. You know, that's actually true. Now that Huni with Warmog is impossible to push out a lane, but imagine if he didn't, but he does run out of mana. You can out trade. You can't, maybe you can't make his HP bar go down, but you can make his mana bar go down enough where he can't clear creeps and you can start slowly getting turret. Yeah, that's what's happening. He beat his mana bar. But you do need to get lifesteal versus tanks if you want to beat it. So a lot of people end up going Bork on split pushers, you know, versus tanks. And obviously you don't want Bork on ribbon, so you go the other lifesteal item in Death Dance and it has cooldown. I mean, the problem with Huni's build is it doesn't have damage, and I don't think Huni really knows how to play Sion that well, and I don't think he's going to be doing his job that well. He did have a great ult and he hit JJ, but I think that was more on JJ playing bad. I'm pretty curious to see how Huni's going to be able to like earn his worth. Do you know what I mean? Well, you're opting into a team fight as a Israel LeBlanc versus a Kai'Sa Zoe. I wonder who's better in team fights, Kai'Sa Zoe or Israel LeBlanc? I don't see how Clutch wins this game. This game wasn't like super dramatic, right? It's not like, oh man, FlyQuest had this amazing outplay and they beat Clutch. It's just Clutch doesn't have a way for to win the game. Huni's in the side lane, slowly getting his turrets taken away by the ribbon. Eventually, FlyQuest forces them into a team fight, and they can't win the team fight. And now it's Baron. Do you think a team like Clutch Gaming would be a top 2 team if Double Lift joined it? I'm not sure about this Clutch team. I think Huni is actually in contention for one of the worst tops along with Dokla. It would be like Huni or Dokla as one of the worst tops, right? And I'm not sure how Lyra Double Lift was synergized. Yeah, no. Do you think there will ever be a time where Stopwatch gets turned into a summoner spell? No. I think it's way too iconic as like a Stopwatch and Zanya's. I don't think it'll turn into a summoner spell. I don't think Riot will ever add a summoner spell. Or they'll be very careful about it. if they replace Huni, they're saying this split and this year is over. I think realistically from the outside, we're like, oh man, this split is over for Clutch Gaming. But probably internally, Clutch is going to take a week or two to think about things, and then they're going to pull the trigger altogether. Eventually, something's got to change. They'll pull the trigger altogether. Ugh, this is an overplay from Viper. But doesn't matter. Oh, their academy team's also last place? Holy shit, I thought Cody's on that team. Their last place with Cody's son? I'd imagine Cody would be one of the best players in academy. Is one round robin enough data to decide if a team is a complete failure? You mean one round robin? You mean at groups and stuff? Or let's focus on this game. It is a Clutch Gaming review. I obsess so much about the draft because here's how I feel about draft. If you draft a team fight, or if you draft a comp that gives your players a clear way to win, then I will not shit on you for your draft, and I will not obsess about the draft. But if you draft in a way where it doesn't give your players a clear way to win, then I will mention your draft consistently because I think your draft is consistently being a problem. Nine games isn't enough to say if a roster is good or bad. 9 games throughout 9 weeks of constant time and opportunity to change and improve is enough. Yes, I think one split is enough to determine if... Oh, you mean like 5 games, or you mean like half a split? Yeah, by a half a split, most teams should know where things should be at. What did you think about the Wild Turtle ult there? He saw an opportunity and he went for it. It's very Turtle-esque. It's okay because his items are bonkers right now and off the chart anyways. What would you change on Clutch Gaming? I would have never picked up Piglet and Huni together. I think that was always the recipe for suicide. That team, if you have Piglet and Huni who are both always thinking about playing to their lane and playing towards themselves, and you put both carries on the same side, it's like putting Deft and Smeb on one team. Damn. Ripperoni. This game was, I would say, 80%, 90% draft. Play definitely mattered, but so much things went wrong in draft.